Hi, welcome back. So today I handle the session on the demand function. Uh, though I am placing these different videos, this is something like I mean the difference between photo album and movie. Like in when we flip the pages of the photo album, it is isolated stills. So in the same way, I may be giving different videos on different topics: law of demand, law of diminishing marginal utility, demand function, elasticity of demand, indifference. But these are all form part of a big movie. Like, for example, all these forms customer behavior, consumer behavior, and there is also another set, or the same person becomes producers or supplier. So that is a different behavior setup. So that may also be addressed. These two forms the market dynamics, influencing the price. As the individual consumer is influenced by price, or the influence by price in the case of supplier. These two forces, aggregate force, also the market forces influence the price fluctuation also. And so we have to deal with the individual market, individual product, and product differentiation. So all these forms microeconomics, unlike the aggregates of the whole economy, the whole global economy or national economy. That I may create another video, how these are all interrelated like a movie, or the whole socio-economic, or the aggregates, the national process. So that is macroeconomics. Now, but I don't take those aspects now. I focus on the demand function. How much we buy. So I'm visualizing this for the students who prepare for exam. The right brain oriented, the memory has a higher power to retain if it is right brain or oriented visual images. If you grasp this image, you will get all these points. The next one also. So how much we buy. That all depends on one's level of income and the advertisement and other sales promotion, or the price of the goods that we buy. As we already noticed in law of demand, that the price and demand are oppositely related. And the price of complementary goods like bread and jam, and the price of substitute goods like fish and chicken, or the tastes and preferences, or fashion and trends, or climate, or again more factors. Expectations. Suppose we expect the price may again go up further, we will buy even if the price is high. And suppose it is habits while doing your work. Suppose you having a lot of eatables, junk food, that's a habit. So you may buy more. And then family size, if there is a presence of babies in the family, we buy more baby foods, baby garments, like that. Or old age seniors, we buy a different setup. Then multiple uses. Suppose the wheat powder has multiple uses, so we buy more. And suppose short term, long term. Short term we may buy more even if the price is high, but long term we adjust. And the nature of commodities, given goods, inferior goods, or luxury goods, whatever. So I have just visualized 14 factors. You can go on adding more factors, more and more factors, like COVID pandemic, and natural disasters like tsunami. So in COVID, we may buy more sanitizers and masks and all those stuff. So there are any number of factors influence the demand. That is the relationship between the quantity that we demand and the influencing factors. The relationship, we call it as demand function. So I have listed all this. You may pause and go through this. So suppose I take only one of the factors, income. If there is an increase in income, which is visualized, and the demand for quantity demand for garments, if there is higher income, we demand more. So it is directly related. What is happening in income, the same thing goes the same direction. If the income goes up, the demand also goes up. And if the income comes down, vice versa, the demand. So that is directly related, positively related. Unlike the law of demand, that is opposite. Here, direct, positive. Okay. And you have questions, I know. Why this much increase in the quantity demanded? Is there any particular level of demand? Why only this much I showed? And why not other goods like food, jewelry? In the case of food, suppose the prices goes up, we may reduce but only less. So a sort of inelastic. That we will, and in the case of jewelry, luxury goods, if the price goes that much, we may change our plan. Okay, we may wait. Something like that. So the responses towards the income and demand may, as we noticed in the price, this is directly related, but still the degree of response may be different. That thing we may study, the relation, the how far, what degree the income that much and the demand respond. That we will learn in income elasticity while we do the elasticity of demand. Okay. And again, and the quantity demanded, how do we show in a demand curve? We know the quantity demanded due to price can be shown in the same demand curve. We already saw that. But the same price but higher quantity, we cannot show the same on the same demand curve, downward sloping. That is inverse. But here the quantity demanded is going up. That is shown through a shift in demand curve. So income, the price is same, $15. So $15 with this income we buy two garments. Suppose the income is increasing, but the price is same per garment, the dress 15. But we buy more and more. Because of that, the demand curve shifts upward. If it is less, downward. It's shifting, not the same demand slope. Okay, I think it's clear because we saw earlier. So this is the textbook way. The same thing. This is more visual. This is more textbook approach because instead of putting garments pictures, I use Q1, Q2, and the price different. Price is same. OP is the price. Price is not different. So the initial was the D1, and then the DD, demand curve, DT. So the price remains same, but the quantity increases from OQ1 to OQ and OQ2. Okay. And this is I just minutes ago, I took a screenshot of Walmart grocery. Suppose I am taking another factor of demand function, the price of the substitute goods. Suppose the fish and chicken, those who are non-veg, the veg, those who are vegetable eaters or veg, they may consider other two substitute goods. So in the case of fish and chicken, which are clearly substitutables, and here just minutes ago I checked the Walmart price here in California. See this per pound, it is $7.84, the salmon fish. But chicken, less than $1 per pound. So definitely there is a tendency to shift more chicken in the diet. Okay. So then how do we show that? So more, higher the price of fish, we buy more chicken. So upward sloping curve. So the price of substitutes are directly related. If the fish price goes up, we substitute more and more chicken. So the demand for chicken goes up, the quantity demand. Then how do we show with the demand curve? The same thing the way we did in the income. So the demand curve, now the chicken, we buy more and more. It is not shown through the same demand curve, but the demand curve shifts upward. Here 1 chicken, here 2 chicken, here 3 chicken. It is not because the price of chicken came down, but the price of fish went up. So the demand curve shows only the price of the same chicken and the demand of chicken. Here we consider the price of the fish. If it is higher price, we buy more chicken. So the same demand curve, no, but the upward shift or downward shift or the new demand. Okay. And this is another factor of demand function, one of the other factors. Price of the complementary goods like bread and jam. So what we see here is, as we already noticed, the difference between the quantity demanded, that change is caused by the change in price. Any other factor. Now we are trying to understand the relationship of the change in complementary goods like butter, jam with the bread. So they goes together. So what happens if that change, when the price of the butter, jam and that type of spread, the bread spread goes up, the demand for bread will come down. So that may shift the demand curve, either upward or downward. So please remember that again and again. Other than price, any other factor, the change in demand is shown graphically through a shift in demand, either upward or downward. So other factors, we have already noticed the relationship and how we show in the demand curve and how these two are related. We saw the income, the price of the substitute goods and price of the complementary goods. And you may go on adding other factors like tsunami, forest fire, pandemic like COVID, recession. Okay, so I have listed how this each is related. You may pause the video and read one by one, like suppose if it is fashion or that is a trendy. Even if the prices goes little up, we may go on buying it. So I mean, and the nature of the commodities, suppose inferior goods. Inferior goods, even if the price comes down, the law of demand says we may demand more. But if it is inferior goods, we may demand less and substitute for other superior goods. This is developed by Giffen, so it is called as Giffen paradox. So you may go on reading all this. So why do we learn all this? As I indicated initially, so these are all related to the consumer behavior in the market, related to goods and services, its price. So we are understanding one by one. So this is the demand function. So the quantity demand for chicken is a function of all these factors, including you may add other factors. So this is the demand function. And how do we fit equation? I have disabled all the other factors. Do you remember I compared this ceteris paribus condition, assuming that all other factors are constant, no change? Do you remember that when I said, when I compared with the movie, the villain, the hundreds of villains attack the hero, but the director keeps all the other persons stand still, freeze, and only one at a time fight with the hero. So in the same way, in science, one by one, let us see so I disabled, I darkened all other factors. So that is the condition of ceteris paribus. If the other factors are constant and we take only the price and quantity demanded. So I have reproduced the old law of demand curve. Because when I state this inverse relations, you may ask, suppose I get a super lottery, who cares the price? Something like, so we assume that no lottery, no climate change, no income change, nothing. Then these two are inverse. That is the law of demand. Then the demand function. What is the demand function? So I have converted all the factors other than the price as A. And for the simplicity's sake, I take a linear demand curve. Do you remember the slope is constant at all points of the demand curve? So the price of the commodity, how I took the price. Suppose if 5 is equal to 2 plus 3, then 2 is equal to 5 minus 3. It's a simple equation. So if the quantity demanded is the combined effect of all these factors, other than price, suppose I convert all these factors as A, then what is the price equation, linear equation? Price is the BQ minus A. That means 2 is equal to 5 minus 3. So what is this B? So B is the slope. You remember this slope, the change in quantity because of the change in price. This is the linear slope. This is the curvy slope. So here the price quantity demanded is more, and here the quantity demanded is less. So that is a slope. So that slope is the B here. So the quantity depends on the slope of the demand curve. Suppose a higher response from the demand, a small fall in price, a big response in demand. So that value is shown through the B. That is the slope of the demand curve. So price is that slope into the quantity demanded minus A, all other factors. Climate change, no income change, nothing. Then these two are inverse. That is the law of demand. Then the demand function. What is the demand function? So I have converted all the factors other than the price as A. And for the simplicity's sake, I take a linear demand curve. Do you remember the slope is constant at all points of the demand curve? So the price of the commodity, how I took the price. Suppose if 5 is equal to 2 plus 3, then 2 is equal to 5 minus 3. It's a simple equation. So if the quantity demanded is the combined effect of all these factors, other than price, suppose I convert all these factors as A, then what is the price equation, linear equation? Price is the BQ minus A. That means 2 is equal to 5 minus 3. So what is this B? So B is the slope. You remember this slope, the change in quantity because of the change in price. This is the linear slope. This is the curvy slope. So here the price quantity demanded is more, and here the quantity demanded is less. So that is a slope. So that slope is the B here. So the quantity depends on the slope of the demand curve. Suppose a higher response from the demand, a small fall in price, a big response in demand. So that value is shown through the B. That is the slope of the demand curve. So price is that slope into the quantity demanded minus A, all other factors. Okay. So varying degrees of responses. As I just said, a small fall in price, suppose it leads to big jump in demand. It's a highly elastic. The slope of the demand curve is B and in the equation. So in the next video, we will take various slopes of the demand curve. Various slopes means the different degree of change in quantity demanded, either due to change in price, so price elasticity. If it is caused by change in income elasticity. If it is caused by the change in the price of substitute, it is cross elasticity. All these we will study next video. So thank you. Have a good time. Take care. Stay safe. Be safe.